and thank you for joining us for another episode of the UNspecial Podcast. We are a space for parents to come be heard, supported, equipped, and inspired. We're not here to tell you what to do with your child or present the latest therapy or behavior modifications. We are here for you. Today on the show, we have an amazing guest. Someone who's thrown all the cards on the table and is committing his future to working in the special needs community. Mikey, welcome to the show.
What up? That was all off the cuff. That was crazy. Off the dome.
How you doing today? What'd you do?
Doing good. Veterans Day, did nothing. Celebrated veterans. And
no school?
No school. No school today. So that was nice. Got the day off, doing homework, and stayed in my jammies all day.
What are you studying?
Studying special education. I'm going to become a special education teacher. That's the plan. So right now the classes I'm in, I just started 2 new ones. So I'm learning a little bit about the law and stuff of special education. So that'll be interesting. And then I'm also studying, I'm getting to be credentialed as a multi-subject teacher as well as a special education teacher. So also studying like instructional planning, things like that.
What's the multi-subject?
It's like... So
like
basically elementary school, yeah,
oh,
like
okay.
K through, maybe K through 8, I think you do. But
so it's a separate credential?
It's a separate credential, but it's a part of like my program still. So it's all kind of combined, but then there's like, I guess 2 different credentials. I don't know, I'm still kind of figuring it out. It's a little confusing.
They might have switched it up since I was
I'm at
in the dark age.
It's Arizona at Grand Canyon University, so
nice.
It might be different in Arizona, but I don't know.
Well, that's a good program.
Should probably figure that out. Make sure I'm getting the right stuff here.
The fact is, you're getting your credential.
Yeah.
What did you do before?
Landscaping. Yep. So I was a landscaper for 6 years. I worked for a few years for a company, and then the last 3 years all on my own. And business owner. Fun stuff.
The entrepreneurial journey. When did you decide to switch paths?
Decided a little over a year ago now, I think, to switch paths. I've always, since I graduated from high school, I always wanted to do something in education. And I was actually going to college to be a lot of things, actually. I originally wanted to be a kindergarten teacher. And then, I did a couple days in a kindergarten volunteering reading, and I was like, wow, this is gnarly. Like, the teacher was like a mom to 35-year-olds.
I started
30 different 5-year-olds, not 35-year-old men or women.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I get it.
Yeah. But yeah, that was like a wake-up call. I was like, okay, this is not it. I don't have those maternal, paternal.
I started... subbing. No, I was an instructional aide in a kindergarten class. My first year, I came in halfway through the year, and then the next year, I was an instructional aide in a kindergarten class, and it was a wild class. Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Kids ran away. I got punched like every day, but they're so little, so it's like, is that all you got? The teacher, though, I worked with was incredible. And that's when I decided I wanted to do this full time. And then I started the credential process. But those classes are so fun because they're so little and they have so much energy. But every day is so unpredictable. You definitely don't get bored.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And then the behaviors. I really enjoyed behaviors.
Yeah. Okay. Explain that a little more.
I just feel like they're so interesting. Like, why they do what they do, or why are they kicking me? Why can't they just? Why weren't they able to stay in their chair? And it always came down to they're just communicating something. It's not that dissimilar from our children.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always this hype on special when most of the things they're doing are exactly what my kids do.
Yeah.
You know?
No, for sure.
I mean, you have kids.
Yep.
One
daughter, 2 years old. she's into kicking and hitting.
What is
too
it?
right
The
now.
terrible twos?
Yeah, that's what they say.
All right, so you were in the kindergarten class? No.
Yeah. I
Elementary.
was there. It was literally, I was just reading to students. It was for like a college class to get like community service hours or something that you need to get. And so I would read there for like an hour or two. Something like that. Yeah, it was cool. It was really cool though. I really liked it. And it definitely opened my eyes to be like, I don't know if like kindergarten's necessarily the age I want to teach. So then I went from there, and I just kind of, a thing that I really love is just like relationships with people and building relationships. And so I was volunteering at church with high school students at the time, and that was like everything I was doing was just building relationships with students and stuff. And I really loved that and wanted to like take that into a different area, you know, and like I like teaching. I think it's a cool field. But as I wanted to become a high school, so I was like, maybe I should be a high school teacher, and started pursuing high school math teacher. And I'm not like that good at math. I definitely is like my brain works best with math and the very like subjective. Is it subjective or objective? I don't know. One of those words. Anyway, but so I like that it's just like 1 + 1 = 2, like straight up. Like my brain works well with that kind of stuff. So I wanted to do that, high school math teacher, and continue those relationships. But as I got further and trying to get that degree, it was like I got into, and not even that far, but I think I got to calculus 3 or something like that.
You got past 2 and 1?
Barely. Yeah, made it. And I remember sitting in class, like my first day in class, and all the other students are arguing already about like different theories, math theories and all this stuff. And I'm like sitting there, I have zero clue what they're talking about. Professor walks in, and I just like failed my final in the past class, but it was like I did all the homework, like the way it was structured. I still got like a C in the class. So I got through it or whatever. And so I'm like, oh God, I need to get through this like review and just kind of get everything dialed in. He comes in, he's like, so we're not going to review anything. You guys should know it by now. Let's start with this, and just starts going. And I had zero clue what was going on. I was like, man, like I don't think this is the call, man. Like, I still want to like maybe be in education, but I don't know, like this isn't the route, and I don't know it. And during that whole time I was landscaping for a company and stuff, which I love that work too. It's great work, and it's in California. It's just the best place to work outside. So that was really cool. And so I just kind of continued in that, and then I was doing that for a while. And then my wife is in special education, and she's always told me that like she thinks I'd be good working in special education, and it sounds exactly like what I want, like to build relationships, have smaller groups of students, and you know, just have this like intentional relationship with parents, students, stuff like that. And so I was like, that sounds really cool, and kind of at a time in our lives where I was like, either hit the ground running super hard with the business and really start to grow it, or change, you know, like figure something new out. And that's kind of what it came down to. So yeah. Duty calls.
We'll edit that.
I drew attention to it.
Was there a moment or a particular story that like drew you in? 'Cause I know when I was subbing, and what drew me in, also I was leading a youth group at a church, and there was some special needs students in that group, and I always just had so much fun with them. Because they figure out a way they just seem like they always have the most joy in anything they do. And I just had a blast with them. And then I remember the class I subbed, it was a kindergarten moderate to severe class. And I walked in, I got kicked in the shin. And I was just like, why are you doing this to me? And then that day I was instantly hooked. Like, this is what I want to teach. Especially because I was not very good at school. And so the thought of teaching like a math or a history or science class just was not motivating. But introducing the students to the real world and teaching them like basic money skills. Or one year I taught adult transition, and all my students had jobs throughout the community. And the day they came home with a paycheck was like they conquered the world.
Mm.
And that was the most fulfilling, most awesome experience.
Mm.
Was there anything what was that moment like when you're like, I'm going to go all in?
I don't really, I can't really, dial in on necessarily a specific moment, but maybe more so, just a combination of things. Yeah, I think, the idea of, the relationship piece, is, huge for me, and that is just such a, specific part of special education, whether it's with the students or with the parents, you're in so much communication with each other, and your ultimate goal is to serve the student and the parents, right? And you're just working together to help in whatever way that you can or whatever way they need, right? And so I just really love that aspect. Another something that just has made me want to be in education was the movie Dead Poets Society with Robin Williams. And I don't know, I just think maybe this is, I don't know too much about this, but just what I experienced in school, going through the school system was just kind of I got good grades for the most part, but it was kind of just do this, get a grade, move on. And there wasn't much strong teaching. I feel there were some teachers that were super legit, and that was super cool. But it felt kind of in our American culture, schools, our education isn't that great comparatively. And I don't know, so something about the way he taught in that movie was just dude, this is so different and so cool and inspiring, and I don't know, it just got me kind of stoked. And I feel that's kind of what hooked me into I want to do something like that. And then also just the idea that this is working with the youth is so interesting, because this is the future of the world, and getting to be a part of that is super sweet. And I don't know, this is such a crazy time in everybody's life, right? Whether it's, I don't know, the very formative years of, kindergarten, the elementary school, right? Or 6th to 8th grade, which are even more formative in many ways, right? And then, I got high school, and then you're going on to bigger, better things, right? So it's, I don't know, it's just a really cool area and field to be a part of. So I don't know, it's just something about that has been really cool to me. And
the thought to be that person in somebody's life that they can really look up to, and you can inspire and be that role model for them. I think that's probably the heart of many teachers.
Yeah.
And I'm stoked that you're getting into the special needs community, because we definitely need more people like you. And guys, why do you think there's not many guys that do this?
I was kind of thinking about this, honestly, kind of when I said it, of being in a kindergarten classroom and not being a parent to 30 kids. That's not for me, but I feel that's kind of part of special education in a way too, is you are dealing with a lot more behaviors and things than maybe you are education, depending on the student and everything, in the class you're in. But if you are dealing more with that stuff, maybe it is more of a relationship type piece and less of a teaching content type piece, that was really well worded, type piece of thing. But so maybe just that piece, I don't know, maybe guys don't really want to get into that side of things, but I don't know, to me that just sounds like the best part. I know that,
right? And I always think it's funny,
it's a huge part.
Everyone I came in contact with, they're always you must be so patient, you must have such a big heart. I'm always thinking I'm really not that patient, but I just think it's fun.
Yeah.
And they do, everyone has got such awesome personalities. But so you're in school right now. How many more years you got?
It is not solidified exactly, because it kind of moves, but right now I think I got about 2 more years or something like that. So I'm hitting the ground running here. We're in the baby stages, but I've been in school for maybe a year now, and it's gone by pretty quick. So I mean, it's going, but it sounds long, but I think it'll be here soon.
And then then you got to take the tests, which are very difficult. I was 1 test away from finding a different career.
No way.
Yeah, I failed at the math and science one 3 times. I remember telling my wife, I was if I fail this one more time, I don't think I can do this. Thankfully, I passed.
Love it.
And then you're going to be applying to schools.
Yeah.
Which I'm fairly certain you're going to find a job pretty easily.
I hope so. I know there's a big demand for the field, so I'm hoping that helps me. I imagine it will, but
why do you think there's such a demand? With the numbers increasing by the day of individuals with certain types of learning challenges growing, and then the teacher pool is probably staying the same, creates a big need. Do you think people don't want to get into it because they have like preconceived labels, not images, but like thoughts towards special needs?
Yeah, I don't know exactly. I'm trying to think, like, I mean, I know, like you're saying, like the numbers of people with disabilities are like going up by the day kind of a thing, and some maybe a higher demand just based on how many students are in need of services as well. And then on top of it too, I also think of like just over time studying different disabilities and stuff and learning more of like, oh, maybe we didn't know that this student actually would have qualified for services back then because we didn't like have this in here. So now there's also like more students that are like, hey, we can help you with this, you know, we can like, this can be a little bit easier for you to understand or help you read. You have dyslexia or whatever, you know, whatever the case is. Like we can like maybe identify more disabilities and disorders and stuff. So maybe that's increased demand too, but
probably.
And then, but like as far as like people getting into it, I mean, I'm not too sure. I mean, it's cool. Like even like for me, like it wasn't the first thing I thought of when I thought of like education, you know, like wanting to be in the educational field. Like I didn't think of special education,
right,
as in not necessarily as an option, but just as like something I would be passionate about necessarily.
Yeah.
And when my wife started talking to me about it, like I was like, whoa, that's really cool. And like I feel like bringing awareness to like really what it entails to be a special education teacher would maybe help other people be like, that's a really cool field to be in.
Yeah.
Because it's like it really is one of the most personable fields in education, I feel like. And you are like, I get to work with a student one-on-one like most of the time, and that's like such a cool thing to get to know someone like that. Like
become good buddies.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, that's so cool. Like you don't get that with a general education teacher.
Yeah.
Right? Like you build a relationship, but they see 150 students a day, you know, that like how deep can you get with them kind of a thing, you know? So I don't know. I think it's really cool when you get into it and realize like, whoa, this is a sweet field. Like this is a need, and like I get to help meet a need and serve people and love on people. Like that's super sick. I don't know if that answers your question totally, but
and then just the fact that like not only be that for the student, but for the parents.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Because I know like, and there's so many parents of my former students that were just stoked that I was stoked to be there with their student. And being parents ourselves, like that's all we want. Mm-hmm. Just for our kids to have a solid role model.
Yeah.
That can hang out with them and be with them and teach them stuff.
Well, I like, as a personal anecdote, like with my daughter, like we have her in preschool right now, and it's like who's with her, you know, like that huge part of the day in the middle of the day there, you know, like who is she being influenced by? And like, is this someone that I'm like stoked on, you know? And like, what's the fruit of that too? Like when she comes home, like how does she act and whatnot? And so it's like cool getting to see her, like she's with we're really stoked where she's at, like just like the fruit, like when she comes home, she's so happy, like her manners are like legit right now, which is super cool. So that like saves us some work on our end, you know. But just like, I don't know, just things like that. It's like, wow, this person like seems to really care about my daughter and like wants the best for her, just like we do to a different extent, right? But still, like being able to trust somebody like that is pretty cool. And yeah,
I know looking back, like in growing up, I don't really recall ever being around the special needs community. My first introduction was when I was leading the youth group and then subbing. And then, I mean, I remember in high school there was a special ed class, but it was like there wasn't ever an emphasis on assimilating them into the general public. It was kind of like, oh, there's a special ed class. And then the, like, short bus jokes, which are messed up. But I think, like, with teachers such as yourself and people, other teachers with the same heart, like, we can do some big change in mindset in the educational system to just kind of normalize it. Because, the numbers are making it more normal. If that is even the word you want to use.
Yeah, explain what you mean by normal.
Well,
Normalize.
The label that is put on special needs. It's like the special or the general education.
Okay.
Which I feel like the first change that could be made is just change the names. It's like, it's a life skills class. Like, why do we have to call it a special ed class? I don't know. Be interesting. So
it's an interesting topic for sure.
Yeah. So you're in school and you work in a class. Do you want to speak on that at all?
It's awesome. I love it. I mean, it's super cool.
You're getting like firsthand experience while you go through a credential program.
Yeah, no, I'll talk about that. Like, it was crazy, like, applying to jobs to be, because I'm an assistant right now.
Right.
So, an instructional assistant. So I'm not like, working on IEPs or anything like that. I'm just like basically doing what I'm told, right, by the special education teacher, the case manager, and IEPs at a glance kind of a deal, So I know the kids, but I'm just working with them, right? So it's cool though, but I didn't know at all what that would look like. Like, when I got the job, like, I was like, dude, I don't. So, like, what am I doing again? Like, I'm walking with a student with I don't even know. Like, and it is interesting too, because it's like, it's so specific to where you're placed in the caseload, right? Like, yeah, like every student is a unique person with unique needs, and you can't really be like, oh yeah, here's exactly what every instructional assistant does, right? But anyway, that was really interesting, being like, what does this look like again? Because I don't really understand. People would ask me like, oh, you got a new job, oh, you're doing special education, that's super cool, like, what are you going to be doing? I'm like, I don't know, but I'm stoked, so it's really cool being
on the fly.
Yeah, right. So,
and just figuring it out.
Yeah. And that's been sick.
That's the best experience.
Right. Yeah, I'm a big believer in experience is the best teacher. Like, kind of deal. Like, I love that. So, but no, it's been super cool, like, getting to, like, actually be in the field and learn about the field and, like, apply what I'm learning. And, like, also it encourages me to ask questions to the case managers and also the administrators, all that stuff, like, and just grow more as I learn, whereas if I wasn't working in the field, I wouldn't really have those opportunities. So it's been really sweet getting to do that.
Right. Well, I think it's going to put you a step above the rest. Just, I did the same thing, same path you're on. And everything I did during the day in the classroom for my homework, I just wrote about everything I saw, everything I experienced that day. And then just the credential program was a breeze. But I can't even imagine going through the schooling without actually being in the field. You have no idea.
Yeah.
All the fancy words they use, which are just words that they put on because it's special needs.
Right.
Like, they're just, yeah. What are you most excited about? Because I know you're in the trenches right now. Like, the schooling is grueling. You go to work, you do homework. It's just like a never-ending cycle.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I haven't learned anything about this yet in my studies, but I'm really excited to learn more about it and also do it, which is like developing and amending, just working with the IEPs and like developing goals and working on goals and figuring out the best way to like help students. And like just that whole, the IEP meeting sounds really cool to me, where you get a group of people together. I know it's not like I know it can be a very stressful thing for everybody, but I think it's like, and it's like on paper, what it is such a cool thing. Like, there's a student with a specific need, and there's a group of people that are coming together, and they all have different knowledge, either about the student or about the student, right? Like, you have your parents, you have your principal, you have your case manager, you have a general education teacher, whatever, right? All those people,
speech, OT.
Yeah, whatever they need, right? And you all come together and go, what's the best way we can all work together in order to help this student? Like, something about that, like, on paper is such a cool thing. Like, I don't know. I just think that's really cool.
I think if you bring that mindset into IEP meetings, you're going to crush them. I've been through a handful of very intense IEP meetings.
Right.
But then on the other side, there's some that are super epic, because you get to show up and be that voice in the room for that parent that just tells them how awesome their child is. You can make it a incredible experience, but it is daunting from what I saw on the parent side. And that's kind of why this podcast and UNspecial came about, is from a handful of IEP meetings that I went through, and the parent didn't really have a voice or was able to say anything. And then you can see just the frustration on their face and the challenges that they were going through. And then I thought, man, like, these parents, they need a space to be able to talk and go through the hard things together and be together. So that's rad that you have that innocence, I guess. Thinking about,
I've never been in one or like done anything, so who knows?
But I mean, and the other fun part is, like, you're in control. You're the teacher. You're in charge of the meeting. So whatever you bring into that meeting, you can, like, single-handedly dictate how that meeting goes. And so, yeah, that's a good part. I know you're big on life groups and community. Can you share, I mean, this doesn't even have to be special needs related, but that's the goal with this podcast, is to get parents and everybody in community. Can you speak on what community has done for your life?
Yeah, I mean, community has been like everything for my life, whether it's like family or friends community. Like, I wouldn't be where I am without that. And to get into that, just like, yeah, just always having people around you to build you up when times get hard, or whatever, just a friend to talk to, or a friend to call you out to if you're doing something stupid. I don't know, whatever it is. Like, there's just having people around you, and whether they're a shoulder to cry on, whether you're the shoulder to cry on, or all that stuff. I don't know. It's just like, without getting into like personal like experiences, it's like, I just think it's the most important thing. And when you don't have it, you really feel it, you know? And when you do have it, maybe you take it for granted sometimes, but like, you really feel it when you don't have it, you know? And that, like, it can be crazy. I know the like COVID season and stuff, a lot of people lost community just based on everything going on, you know? And like, that was heavy for the world, you know, to be isolated like that. And you just see it. So I don't know, community is so huge, and especially like specific community, I feel like too, like finding people in a similar like stage of life, or just relatable experiences. Like, I don't know, just really sorry. That sounded nice on the
bubbly
mic.
Water.
But yeah, I'm being in like relatable experiences, you know, like it just like takes all the, I guess, icebreaker type things out of the way, and you just instantly can connect with someone, and they're just like, this was so hard for us today. It's like, dude, I feel that we went through this, you know, and like, oh, I feel for you, you know, just like
share those experiences.
Yeah, get advice sometimes if wanted, you know, or just a place to vent and things like that. I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
I know when we were life group leaders at church, that was some of the best times. Before that, though, I don't know if I ever had community, and finding that community with you and some of our other buddies, I never really had that space to be able to speak. And now I'm in another life coaching, business coaching community.
Yeah.
And it's everything.
Yeah.
Like, the thought that there's a lot of parents out there that are going about this special needs journey alone that's difficult. And that's our goal, is to not let that happen. We can close with this. What is something you want every special needs parent to know?
Yeah, I just think coming from it as someone who is new in the field but is really excited about it is just like, I don't know, I just want to give some maybe hope and like excitement that there's people out there, and maybe you don't feel this way as a parent of someone with special needs, but that there are people out there that really care about your student, or really care about your kids, and like really want to help you, your family, and your students in whatever way they can. And like I think there's a lot of people out there like that, with that heart, and I'm another one who is like that, and I'm just really excited to like get into this field, and whatever that looks like however I can help. Like, I'm just excited to serve these amazing people, families, students, just beautiful people that deserve love.
And that's with Mikey and his wife. We got a powerhouse couple. Going to do some big things in the community.
Let's do it.
Well, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, you bet.
Make sure to like, subscribe, and share the show with anybody and everybody. We don't want anyone doing life alone.
That's right.
You can find us on Instagram, UNspecial LLC, on our webpage, UNspecialLLC.com. Make sure to hit us up if you want to be on the show. We'd love to have you. Share your story and spread the good. Peace.